I had like $2, right? I said, this is all I got left. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go buy a $2 scratch off. And I'm gonna win some money to put gas in my car to get back home.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't, but I said, yeah, I'm gonna win some money so I get some gas to go home. Yeah, lo and behold, I did not win any money. Bruh. And I think somebody had to send me some money on my way back home. I don't know.
Impact. In fact, my hustle is intact. In fact, my hustle is intact. In fact, my hustle is intact. My muscle tough as the hustle, the numbers is just that. And I'ma keep winning and sit back. I love the feeling of killing them with that. Attacking the process, tackling topics, master synopsis. This the residual impact, yeah.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your man, Brandon Gio.
And your man, JaMichael Moore.
And we are the Residual Impact Podcast. Here we inspire others to find the greatness within themselves.
And then apply to their community.
Let's grow.
Yes, sir, man.
Back again for another episode.
Yeah, man.
What number is this one?
It's 42.
42.
This is I could be wrong on this. Isn't that Jackie Robinson's number?
Yes.
Ah, sounds right.
You were right.
Yeah. Shout out to Jackie Robinson.
Shout out to Jackie Robinson.
Great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
I have not seen 42.
Oh, you should go see it, man. Oh, well, you should go watch it.
Yeah, I don't think it's in theaters anymore.
I don't think it's in the movie. You should definitely go watch it, though. It's a great movie, man.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out, man. I heard, that was one of Chadwick's breakout performances. So.
Oh, most definitely. Very inspirational.
I believe it.
Shout out to Chadwick Boseman. Big movie coming up towards the end of the year. Actually, the day before my birthday. Well, I don't think he's in it, but they're going to give him a great tribute, though.
Yeah, I don't believe he's in it at all.
No,
but,
I don't think so either.
So I'm guessing you're excited to see Black Panther 2 when it come out?
I wouldn't say excited, but, I'm definitely going to watch it and see how they, give him his flowers and things like that.
I think that's one of the main reasons why so many people are going to want to check it out. Not necessarily because of, what's going to happen now that he's gone, but, like, how are they going to try to fill his shoes? I mean, even if they're not recasting him, which I don't think they are, but I don't think that's what they did, but how are they going to tell the story of a new Black Panther without him being here?
Right. That's what I think the interesting part is going to be. But I'm definitely excited. I mean, like I said, it comes out the day before my birthday, so hey, what better way to celebrate it?
That's what's up. So you buying me a ticket?
I didn't say all that.
Bruh. Man, I was excited, yo. I mean, I thought we were partners, bro. Like, I thought we...
Don't worry, I got you on a discount, though, man.
Hey, I like it. I like that.
Yeah,
that helps.
Man.
That helps.
You gotta look out for each other.
Take care of your people. Message. But other than that, man, you already know. First things first, we got to go over some housekeeping rules.
Yes, sir.
Mike, what are they?
Well, see, what you want to make sure you do is make sure you always take your shoes off before you go in the house, all right?
No.
So mama don't play that. That's not the housekeeping rules, though?
No.
You don't take your shoes off before you go in the house, though?
I do.
I'm just
saying. But that's not
you gotta be
our housekeeping rules.
Okay, so you said our. Okay, so you weren't specific. You said housekeeping rules.
Bruh.
I'm just saying.
Boy, if you don't get... Anyway, what are our housekeeping rules?
Oh, okay. Since you put it that way, our housekeeping rules. For those of you that are new to the channel, we just want to welcome you. We do appreciate y'all, and we look at y'all like family. So we want to just welcome y'all into the house, and we want to just say thank you for stopping by. And if you're new to the channel, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button that's down below. And also, too, if you like the video, hit the like button. Or, I ain't even gonna be mad at you. You can hit the dislike button too, because guess what?
Don't do that. No, don't do that.
See, you gotta be able to take it all, the good with the bad. If you like it, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button so that it doesn't show up.
But we would much rather you hit the like button instead of the dislike button.
This is true, but
that's all I'm saying.
I'm just gonna get y'all to open both opinions or both choices if you want them. Other than that, you can always follow us too on the many platforms that we're on. Please give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We are all on all platforms, Residual Impact or Residual Impact Podcast, depending on a certain platform you're on. You could also too, please leave us a review and a rating on the many listening platforms such as Spotify, Amazon,
Apple Podcasts.
I always forget that one.
Pocket Cast,
can't forget
Google
them.
Podcasts.
Oh man, good Lord. And we still got Pandora.
iHeartRadio.
Oh man, I'm forgetting this.
Yeah, I always forget it.
Man, we can't forget that, man. I'm grateful. Let's take a second first and foremost, man, we were on no platforms at one point.
That is true.
And now we over here naming multiple platforms.
That is true.
Can we give a big hand clap to that, man?
I like that. You know what? I'm actually still working on getting us on the other platforms as well, such as like Stitcher and not Spotify, SoundCloud. Somebody suggested SoundCloud to me the other day.
See, that's not, and I've been thinking Pandora too, bro. Pandora is another one we can get added on to as well.
All right, we definitely got some work to do. So
yeah, man.
We got to make sure that we put ourselves on these other platforms. But shout out to all of the listeners out there, the many listeners, the many people who just tap into the podcast episodes weekly. And even though we've been slacking a little bit, you know, with the consistency, we do appreciate your patience. We definitely do, because trust me, life really do be lifing. And I don't I don't say that to like make an excuse, but life has been hitting kind of hard lately. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's all I wanted to say with that. But we're definitely getting back to the consistency, and I really mean it, for real.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, hey, I know you said you didn't want to get into detail, but, you know, we always got to start the day off or start the podcast rather off with asking, how was your week?
Life has been life. That's how my week was. Life has been lifing. Yo, I almost, let's see. If I didn't take today off of work, I would have been working straight from, I think, last Sunday to probably up until maybe this upcoming Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do that. I mean, I was already tired of, you know, I told you before we even cut the cameras on, like I've been pulling double shifts.
Right.
Long hours, just trying to get some bread up. It's the end of the month, you know, rent's due, the whole nine.
Rent come around.
And I don't want it to, you know, deplete the account and just be like, I have nothing left, you know, and I'm living off of peanut butter sandwiches and bananas and stuff, you know.
And ramen noodles or Roman noodles.
Right, yeah, I'm not, that's college days, man. I've retired the ramen noodles, you know, from my pantry, you know.
Man, I understand.
Eventually, I want to get to the point to where we eating like regular pasta, like, you know what I'm saying, like fancy pasta, and you know, upgrading our steaks to filet mignons and wagyu. Oh,
ragu. Is that what you're talking about?
No. The steaks. It's WAGYU.
I'm actually not.
But I know like so many people say Wagyu, but the G is before the Y.
I've never even actually heard that, so that might be too expensive for me, brother.
It is pretty expensive. Like you go to like real expensive steak houses to have that steak, but it's like supposedly like the prime cut. So I don't know, man.
I just learned about filet mignon, and I really enjoy filet mignon.
Filet mignon is good.
It's really good, actually.
I like it. All right. So, you know, of course, with a little bit of editing magic, you know, you guys didn't see the lookup process, but found out that it's actually pronounced Wagyu. And according to Google, you know, because we did the search on the Googles, right? It says that the fillet is cut from a tenderloin of a cow. The muscle is fairly sedentary, so it's highly lean and a tender cut of beef. Wagyu filet mignon is a high level of marbling in the meat, so an already tender cut is made even more velvety and delectable. And it contains a higher percentage of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids and more monosaturated fats than other beef. The soft fat has a low melting point and not only creates a wonderful texture, but also holds most of the flavor. And that is why it is pretty expensive.
Well, maybe one day we'll try it, brother.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I have no doubt that when we move on up like the Jeffersons, we're going to have that steak. We're going to try it. You know, just say, hey, we talked about it in episode 42. Now we're here at episode 100 and whatever. Or maybe even sooner. Who knows?
Who knows?
And, you know, we can look back at this moment and be like, remember when we first started talking about it? And now here we are enjoying it. So, but anyway, I say all of that to say that was a lot to talk about my week. But the week has been full of work, and you know, it's been kind of stressful. You know, I want to put away the ramen noodles and stuff like that, and I want to be eating, you know, prime cut steak like this.
Process, man. It's a process, man. Take your time.
Most definitely. But how was your week, brother?
This week, dude. It's weird. This week really wasn't a lot going on. I can say I got a little bit of rest. It's a little bit of a balance.
That's always welcome, man.
Yeah, it is. I think it's important. It's like now that I'm able to get I'm starting to learn my schedule enough to where I can find time to rest and then work. It's like I have to make sure that I'm legit resting though in those times where I get the rest and not trying to oh man, I don't have anything to do. Let me put something inside of it so that I got something to do. And it's like, well, then that's okay, now that negates the whole purpose of getting time to rest.
That is true.
So other than that, I mean, that was my biggest, I don't even want to call it an issue, but my biggest obstacle of the week is actually resting during the times when I get the rest. But other than that, it was really good. Everything is going good. My family's good. I could say that I did have, it was a humbling experience. A couple weeks ago, I decided I wanted to go out, to the casino and, might have lost a little bit more money than what I should have been spending. And, yeah, man, we just trying to make that money back right about now. That's all. A little humbling experience. That's all.
This guy with the gambling.
Man, look, I love roulette. Okay. I cannot lie to you. I love the game of roulette, but it just don't love me back right now.
Clearly. I'm gonna need you to chill, man. Next thing I know, it's gonna be like, yo, I had to pawn some of the equipment.
Nah, man. The thing about it is I've learned over time is you always want to make sure you leave with money in your pocket. If I will never leave a casino empty handed, and I do understand that because they trying to clean you out, but always make sure you leave with something. But,
and I heard that's why the food in the casinos be so cheap.
Oh, probably.
Oh man,
drinks. They walk around. They make sure you need anything to drink. You need a massage. They want to keep you as comfortable and complacent as possible, so you can spend as much money. That's the goal for them.
Yeah, well, like I say all the time, man, I don't like gambling, so I've never been to a casino.
Man.
I don't think I ever want to go. I mean, maybe I might, go to one whenever I decide to go to Vegas.
Well, you ain't got to go to Vegas. Well, let me not even get you into that. But you don't got to go that far. I just want to let you know that. All right. Maybe one day.
What you talking about, Willis?
we can plan the trip. I'm just saying. Maybe I'll bring you out there, man.
Oh man.
But no, it's honestly, it's just for me. It's the thrill of it. But I think it's also you got to be responsible. Do not, because you have a lot of people that do go out there, man. They go broke and they don't really have a plan, or they go out there, have a certain amount of money, and then they end up getting out more, and it's just that's when it becomes bad. But
man, I can only imagine.
Yeah, bro, and they can really make you feel sick if you sit there and lose all that money. So
oh my God,
it makes me sick just thinking about it, and it's not even my money.
Yeah, but I mean, when you win, you win. But if you lose, you definitely can lose. So have
you won?
I've won before. I didn't win when I went the last time, but I definitely have won before. So I've learned. I've seen it. I've seen both sides. I've seen moments where, I go in there with $5, man, I come out with $500 and it feels great. But the problem is when you go back in there with that same $500 and then you leave out with maybe $5, you be like, man. So, but yeah, it's very interesting thing. I've been trying to figure it out because I know these, in my mind, I want to say that it's not rigged, but then a part of me thinks okay, they got something to where it's always made for them to win. You know how they say the house always wins?
Yeah.
So, but I'm just trying to figure out what is it that they know, because the games that I typically play, they're supposed to be randomized. So it's I don't see how they know certain things, but
hey, it could be rigged, y'all.
I hope not, but it's still fun. It's still, people still go back every weekend just to go play.
And then lose all that money and then end up talking about some.
Yeah. But like anything, bro, be smart, be wise, do it in moderation. If you do like to gamble, do it in moderation and just be wise with it. That's all.
I hear that.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna bring you out that one day, Beto.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure I don't play no games. I'm just gonna sit back and watch and just see whether you win or lose.
You say that now, but when you have $10 in your pocket and you see me come up maybe $500, you gonna be like, well, if I just put that money right there, let's see what happens. So
listen, I am not a gambling man. The most I've ever probably gambled or taken a risk, with money and stuff like that is to invest into a business. And I get it. That's still technically gambling, if you really want to think about it that way. However, I don't want to go play nobody's games at casinos and stuff like that. That's just not me. Like, even like if you go to like the airport and you see the little slot machines.
I wouldn't trust that.
I've never
I've
never done any of that stuff. So that's just me.
Yeah.
You
ever bought lottery tickets before?
For my mother when she's asked, but I've never personally played.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
No, I feel you.
Now, hold on. Let me stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Because there was a time where I've seen people come up on like scratch offs.
Yeah.
Like, they'll put like a couple dollars on the scratch off and come up like hundreds of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
I've done that before.
Okay.
And that's probably why I don't really like gambling.
Why?
And this was like when I had to be like maybe 18 or 19 when I did this, And I remember I was working fast food and I saw some of my coworkers run to the gas station next door, come up with a bunch of money. I'm like, all right, let me try. $2 turned into $6 turned into 10 turned into 20. And it's like, I won nothing back. So I guess that experience, because I really forgot about that. Like, that experience kind of like turned me off to it. So I don't mess with it no more.
That just made me think of a funny story. When I was younger, I don't know what I was thinking. I just remember a point in time I was talking to this young lady and I was about to go see her, and I didn't have a lot of gas in my car. I knew I had enough just to make it to her, but I didn't know how I was gonna get home.
What?
So B, let me tell you what I did. Right on my way to her, I don't know what was going on in my mind, but I said I had like $2, right? I said, this is all I got left. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go buy a $2 scratch off. And I'm going to win some money to put gas in my car to get back home.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I don't know what I was thinking. Clearly I wasn't, but I said, yeah, I'm gonna win some money so I get some gas to go home. Yeah, lo and behold, I did not win any money, and I think somebody had to send me some money on my way back home. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's what turned me off from scratch offs a long time ago.
Yeah, I know you're much older now and hopefully wiser from that event. But ladies and gentlemen, do not listen to
I don't know
like,
what
don't do
was
that.
going through my mind. I said, I'm going to win money. I said, I'm going to put $2. I'm gonna win. Instead of taking those $2 and just putting it in my tank, because at the time.
Right, because I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, if it's however long ago, because you've been married for a minute, like $2 in a tank, like that would have.
It would have did something.
That would have helped you get home, unless this lady lived like an hour plus away.
Nah, she didn't. She probably lived maybe like 15, 20 minutes away. So that $2, it could have.
Yeah, that $2 could have gotten you at least almost a gallon.
Yeah. But I said, nah, we gonna come up big instead.
It came up with a donut.
So look, yeah, be wise, man, with your money, man. That's all.
This man had to have somebody else send him money, and I bet that other person on the other side was like,
Oh, somebody! Oh, he needs some milk.
Definitely,
because you definitely needed that.
Definitely a lesson learned. But yeah, man. Anyways, enough.
What a story.
Yeah. But speaking of stories, this week, have you heard about what's going on in the NBA?
What's going on in the NBA? Because I've heard some things, man. I've definitely heard some things. But if you're thinking about what I'm thinking about, I will honestly say yes. I've heard about what's going on in the NBA.
Man, so you already know the Boston Celtics, who were just in the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors, but of course they came up short to the Golden State Warriors. They had a great season.
Amazing season.
Yeah, the coach, one of the very few black coaches too in the NBA.
Head coach. Not even an assistant coach. He's a head coach.
Head coach. Yes. Ime Udoka. He got suspended for a whole year. And to get suspended for a year, especially after coming from the finals, you got to realize to get.
As your first year of head coach.
Listen.
First year.
This is a big thing, all right?
Yo.
To get to the finals alone is extremely hard, and it takes a lot of luck. But to get suspended, it must be something serious. So, this last week, as of this recording, Ime Udoka, he was suspended for 1 year, according to ESPN, because of some code of conduct violations that had happened amongst different staff. So, within the organization, I'm guessing in the NBA, you're not allowed to have relationships with, your coworkers.
Right.
And, I've heard that before. I work for a company as well that, that's one of the things that they state. You cannot date anyone that's while you're working for that company.
Yeah, and I've seen that a lot growing up as well with the different jobs that I've had. Normally, though, it's been a situation where, like, I guess crew members couldn't work with like management. Like, so if you report to somebody, you can't date them. But like crew could date each other, because I've dated girls that I've worked with. You know, no problem. Like, nobody said anything. Managers have known, like, oh, like, those two go together, whatever. We've never been fired. We've never been written up for a relationship. Like, none of that. But I mean, it's the NBA. Like, this is not, it's not a minimum wage job that I used to work back in the day.
This is very
This
true.
is the NBA. So yeah. Supposedly, according to ESPN, I mean, I guess we could still kind of say allegedly.
Yeah, please. Let's
just in case, allegedly, head coach of the Boston Celtics, Ime Udoka, was outed for fraternizing, for lack of better words, with, I heard it was probably more than one staff member.
So have I heard, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Because I've seen pictures of multiple women.
I've only seen a picture of one.
I've seen two.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I don't think they really completely know the story. I mean, clearly whatever happened really did happen, but they just don't know who or how many people were involved. But I've heard multiple sources say that, you know, it's been multiple different women, allegedly.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, well, that kind of changes things, because, yeah, like I said, I've only seen a picture of one woman, but somebody snitched.
Yeah.
Who? I don't know.
Who knows?
But, you know, somebody was talking, and it got to the point to where, you know, it got this man suspended, which, hey, I mean, like we said before when discussing, you know, crime and stuff like that. I know this ain't a crime, but, you know, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. You feel me?
Yeah. And I also heard that, you know, one of the reasons they're making the suspension so long and they made it, you know, so severe, quote unquote, is because they need to make an example to let people know that, hey, this is not something that is acceptable and that, you know, we can't have this. So,
but here's the thing, and this is what grinds my gears. Now, I was watching Stephen A. Smith talk about this situation, and he said that, you know, of course, he's been involved with sports for years, right? Especially the NBA. He's been involved with sports for years. He says that this happens often, and not even just with coaches, but with owners. So you have these billion-dollar franchises where, like, owners who are married or whatever the case may be messing with staff members, and it gets swept under the rug. We don't hear about it. But the moment you have a black head coach who does something like this, he has to be made an example of. And now I may be thinking too far into this, but this is like kind of like Stephen A. Smith's point, and I agree with him on that. Like, if you're gonna out it, like if you're gonna talk about it to the public, why wouldn't you do the same thing with the owners who have done this in the past? Because according to Stephen A. Smith, he said that this happens in the NBA often. This has happened many times before. It's just that it's never really been brought to public attention. Yeah. But now all of a sudden,
that's a very touchy one. I can't really. I don't know about that one. I do feel you on that, and it's unfortunate that it had to be a black head coach for this to happen to. But I will say that the NBA has been somewhat doing a good job on cracking down on certain things, because as you may or may not know, the Suns coach, or not Suns coach, the Suns owner, he's going through like some stuff right now because of some things he said, and he's actually being forced to sell. He owns the Suns and the WNBA, which is the Mercury, which are two, as far as NBA teams go, like are very valuable teams. But right now they're cracking down on him because of some things that he said as well. So he hasn't been dealing with cheating, but it's something that's okay. We're not going to allow certain things.
Right.
So to me, it looks like they're trying to make it fair, but I definitely agree with you. There's probably a bunch of times where, some people of another color have done some things and not have got the same reprimand as.
I get it. But I mean, as far as affairs, and we don't condone cheating here. We already talked about that before, but
because black men don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat. We've said that before countless times. Y'all may disagree after this episode, but we we're not claiming him, man.
He a little light skin. He might be mixed with a little something. All right.
Hey, he's not Black American, so let's just say that. I'm not saying that to say anything negative, but we're not claiming him in that sentence.
I feel like also too, maybe with his situation and his story, what has magnified him so much is the fact of he is an NBA head coach who was just in the finals. He is Black, and accordingly, back then, I don't know if they're dating now. He was dating.
Engaged to.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Engaged to the great actress, Miss Nia Long.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's so big of news.
And again, not condoning cheating because we've already talked about it. But I've heard that, of course, in the sports world, a lot of the athletes cheat. Yeah. A lot of the coaches, and even the owners. Like the owners are out there, doing their dirt. So again, I'm not saying that it's acceptable, but it seems to be normal in the sports world.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody who the athletes or anybody who's a part of these organizations, like they go around getting in relationships and having these conversations with whoever it is that they're getting in relationships with.
Right.
Or if it's like somewhat common knowledge that this could potentially happen. Like if you get with an NBA player or a head coach of an NBA, you could be, or a head coach of an NBA team, you could be setting yourself up for this to happen. For example, Brittany Renner, we've talked about it before, how when she got with PJ Washington, so many people were kind of like telling her that she should have known, that somebody, especially him being so young and worth so much money and having all these women throw themselves at him, like
right.
He was going to have to, not really have to, but he was most likely going to, quote unquote, exercise his options.
Right.
And another example. Now, this dude is not an NBA player, but have you heard what happened recently with NLE Chopra breaking up with his girlfriend?
Yeah, I heard about they breaking up. Yeah.
Did you hear why?
Because he said he's young or something like that. He wanted to live.
That was a part of it. According to a video that he put out recently. Well, first, the girlfriend. I don't know the young lady's name off the top of my head, but I'll go ahead and throw it up on the screen. And, I'll possibly throw up the clip so y'all can check it out if you haven't seen it already.
I can't tell y'all how hard it is for me to sleep. Or how hard it is for me to get up and face reality, because this was not my reality a week ago. I can't tell y'all how hard it is, because I love so hard, and I love harder and harder and harder every time, and this one hurts the most, because I really thought that I was gonna marry this man.
But his girlfriend was, I think she was sitting on Instagram Live, or she just recorded a video, and she was crying talking about the breakup. And after that, of course, all the blog sites caught wind of it, Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked, Spiritual Word, all of them. And, it got so much traction that NLE Choppa had to come on and make a statement himself. And he said, when we initially got together, we had a conversation. Like, I told her how I was. I told her, I think he said something along the lines of like, one of my only caveats, or one of my only conditions with this relationship was that I wanted to feel free to exercise my option to cheat. Like, I'm going to cheat. So if you're cool with this, fine. If not, we don't have to be together, but that's what I want to do. He's like, I'm 19, like I'm young. I want to explore my options. I want to do, certain things. And he said that she was cool with it. And eventually he broke up with her because she really wasn't cool with it.
Right.
So in a situation like that, so many people were responding to his video because he kind of like cleared that up and said that we talked about this up front. We had a conversation. She said she was good. She said it was okay. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. Now he's 19. She's 26. So it was a situation where she wanted marriage and stuff like that. And I guess he wasn't ready for that. Just, at 19, like who would be?
Right.
I mean, well, one of my best friends, he got married at like 20 or 21. So I get it. It's rare, but it happens. But you're a 19-year-old rapper. You have fame, you have fortune, you have, I don't know, man. You have fans, you have groupies. Who wouldn't at that age want to exercise their options?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same thing with the NBA. Like, I don't know.
Possibly. I know that I was listening to an interview from Warren Sapp. He used to be an NFL player, and he said he got some great advice from a coach one time, being in that spotlight. And he was like, if you take these 5 things down, he was like, you'll always be okay with you. And I thought they were very interesting. He was like, the five things that he always tell him is, don't stay out past midnight. Don't go 15 miles over the speed limit. Don't have guns or don't have drugs. Don't have alcohol with you. And watch women you know too well and not well enough. And he was like, if you live by those 5 things, he was like, normally, if you look at a lot of reasons that these athletes go down, it's for one of those 5 things. If you listen to a lot of stories, think about it. Think about some of the people we've talked about in the past, as far as like on the last episodes, Miles Bridges. It was with some abuse, right?
Yeah.
That was with a woman, and it was dealing. I can't say he was under influence, but I'll at least say it was with a woman. The guy who Henry Diggs or Duggs, I apologize if I mispronounced it, but he was with the young lady. We talked about it. Who he got in a car crash. He ended up killing a young lady because
he was speeding super fast
and he was intoxicated.
Yep.
So it's just like it's like when I look at those things, as far as people that are in these entertainment industries, it's always surrounded by those 5 things. So it's like they need to be careful as far as some of the things that they're doing, man.
I mean, shoot, even us, when we get to the point to where we are like elevated in that aspect, where we do have a larger, family base, because I'm not going to say fan base. Y'all are our family. When we have a larger family base and we start doing live shows, I mean, I hear it a lot from a lot of podcasters now who have put in the work, who have been in this for years, and who are doing live shows, and they're selling out live shows and stuff like that. Some of them be like, oh, we're famous now. Like we're up there. We're at that point. I mean, that could be our life one day. Right. And, I would definitely say, I mean, you have a great head on your shoulders. You're not going to do anything stupid. So I think, not. I hope not too. Nah, I'm not married. So, I'm a little bit more of a free agent in that aspect.
That don't mean you can't do nothing stupid. You can still do that.
Well, okay, with women in that aspect, like you won't catch me cheating. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't cheat anyway. Like
black men don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat. We already know. Exactly. But I will say that, anybody can pretty much apply those 5 things to their life. Like, you don't even have to be in the entertainment industry.
I do agree.
Yeah, because you'll have so many quote unquote average Joes or average Janes who could fall victim to any one of those 5 things.
I do agree. So maybe we just all need to take those things into heed. I'll say it one more time then, just like
please do.
It seems like
people need to hear this.
So typically these 5 things are what get people in trouble. Is when you're out past 12 midnight. There ain't nothing that's going on good after 12.
Or as some people's families would say, mothers or grandparents, ain't nothing open past midnight except for Waffle House and legs.
Bruh.
Hey, I'm just going to leave it at that. All right. The second thing is, too, going 15 miles over the speed limit. Be careful. Watch out for drugs and guns. Also, be careful of alcohol. And the last thing is women you know too well or not well enough. Or we could, you could say men for,
of course, for the ladies, but all like 2-3 of y'all who listen to the podcast I mean, like it's mostly men who listen to us, but shout out to the ladies that do tap in, most definitely.
Thank you, we appreciate you.
I'm curious to see where this situation goes. I mean, we kind of already see what has unfolded so far, but with Nia Long breaking her silence on the situation, and of course, Udoka, issuing a statement and stuff like that. Only time will tell to see what else could happen, what else could come of this, because, as you and I both know, like we said, as of this recording, this stuff has been all over the news. It's been all over TV. as far as like the sports world is concerned, and it's also been all over Twitter.
Yeah. Speaking of stuff being on the news and all over Twitter, I wanted to bring this up because I don't feel like it's on the news enough. It's not on Twitter enough. And it's about this water crisis that is happening currently right now in Jackson, Mississippi. For those of you that don't know, basically they've had a water crisis now for a while. So the House appropriators actually are considering sending as much as $200 million to address the water crisis right now in Jackson, Mississippi. To me, I find this a little nuts because we don't think about it, but we take it for granted. Clean water.
Right.
And we're talking about a whole city that does not have clean water, but yet we don't hear it talked about in the news enough, or maybe they might talk about it on the news, but we don't hear it, on social media enough being spread around because we find out more about drama than we do about things that, are actually impacting people's lives.
Or we'll find out about stuff that doesn't even happen in this country right now, as opposed to,
you know what I mean?
What's going on in the country. Like,
dude,
how the government is sending billions of dollars to help Ukraine, but they're not focusing that money on people here.
You got people. It says that Jackson had 150,000 residents. Let me just say that again. 150,000 residents that were without drinking water for weeks this summer. Yes, after a flood of the Pearl River caused systems water pressure to drop. And they basically had to tell people, look, if you want somewhat of clean water, go start boiling your water because the quality of it without it is not going to be good. And we don't think about that, bro. It's like, because we take it for granted. I mean, I'm pretty sure you took a shower today, B. You did take a shower, right, B?
Of course.
Okay,
Bro, you even got to ask that.
It was a little quiet for a minute, B. I ain't know. I'm just saying. I just had to make sure, man.
Hey, I take showers. And I advise each and every single one of y'all to do the same thing.
Take a shower, y'all. If you're not taking a shower.
Speaking of, on a tangent, I saw this one video. It was trending on Twitter. This young lady of the not melanated community. I think she was living in the woods. Like, I think she's doing like RV life kind of thing. And she made a video about how she only showers like once a week. What? And she's surrounded by like her dogs. Like, she has dogs, and yeah.
Yes, I did say once a week. I live out in nature with my dogs, alone most of the time. They don't care how I smell. My remote coworkers through the screen don't care how I smell. I guess I'm just a dirty girl. But I will say my skin has been way healthier. My hair has been a lot less brittle and healthier. And whatever, I'm happy. Shower, don't shower. Live your life, people.
Yeah, we're going to leave her right where she at. We're just going to let her stay there. I ain't really got no comment on her. Yeah, she's living her own life, and I'm not here to judge.
This was an older video, but if I find the clip, I'll go ahead and include it so y'all can check it out. But yeah, man, I definitely take showers, and I highly advise those of you who have the same mindset as this young lady here, please go ahead and take a shower more than one day a week, because that's disgusting. Whether you're surrounded by people or surrounded by pets or surrounded by nobody but yourself, listen. You sit in your own funk. Like, how could you do that? I don't agree. But you know what? I did go off on a tangent. I'm sorry to cut into this story here about Mississippi. It just popped in my head, man.
I understand.
Yeah, I do take showers. I hope Mike does too.
Thank you. I do. I took one before I got here.
So did I.
But it's something like that. Just we may even take for granted because these people right now I hope right now they might have clean drinking water and clean water in general, because I think that's something that's very hard to go through. We don't really realize how big water is a part of our lives until maybe we don't have it as much.
Right.
And they're saying right now that the total cost for upgrading it is unclear, but they estimated that it's around at least as high as $1 billion. And that's just for a city, bro. And like you said, man, we're sending money out to these people that are outside of the country to help them. And then we have big issues like this that are going on that we're not really giving enough attention to. But it's funny because if you look at social media, when the whole thing with Russia and Ukraine happened, that's all we saw.
Yeah.
That was it. But then when I look at this, I saw maybe one thing about it, and that was it. I didn't really see a big outpour of this, or and I just wanted to make sure that we keep it alive, and or we at least have it in front of people's faces, because there may be somebody that listen to this that can actually have a direct effect on somebody that's in Jackson that can help them, and you never know. So that was one of the reasons for wanting just to bring this up and just bring more attention to it, because I think this is something serious and we shouldn't just take it lightly.
For real.
Yeah, man.
So it definitely needs to be talked about more. And, if there are any like ways that we can help, people here at home, especially in Jackson, Mississippi, I'll go ahead and throw the information down in the description. And, you guys can do whatever you can do to help those in need, because, you just understand that if you were in the same situation, you'd want people to help you. So do what you can while you can.
Most definitely. And even if it's prayer, I don't know if everyone on here prays, but look, if you pray, send some prayers out there.
Most definitely.
That definitely can change something.
Speaking of changing something, man.
What you want to change, brother?
I want to change the world.
Well, you know what the great Michael Jackson said, right?
What did he say?
He said, start looking in that man in the mirror, though. That's what he said first.
And that, my friend, is why we launched this podcast.
Yes, sir.
I looked at the man in the mirror and I said, listen, you got to do things differently.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you have to do differently is you have to use your voice to speak out to people, and not just the people around you, but, use your voice to speak into something that can amplify your voice and speak to everybody around the country.
So you're saying we should start a rap career? Because that's what's happening right now, right? You said you said changing the world. Bruh. I'm just saying right now we can put our stuff on it. Okay. You gotta be more specific then. Okay.
Yeah, I am being more specific. What we're doing right here has nothing to do with beats and rhymes.
My bad.
Okay, nothing to do with any of that.
Say we trying to make it. Right?
Yeah, we're trying to make it, but not in that way.
All right, just let me know.
Been there, done that. That's part of my past. I don't know about you, but
just let me know, bro.
No,
no,
thank you.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue, please.
Listen, hey, like you said before, man, we started on 0 platforms.
Yes.
Right. When I looked at the man in the mirror, and of course, I didn't come up with this idea by myself, but I initially had an idea to start a podcast. And I didn't really think about putting it into full effect until you brought it up. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing about it is you brought it up because you saw what I was doing with my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like I had the idea to start a podcast, but I went straight to YouTube, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll get the podcast idea out. Let's just shoot these videos and edit videos, because that's what I'm good at. That's what I love doing, whatever. And then you were just like, yo, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And I said, yeah, I thought about it, but I'm doing this right now. And I was like, hold up, wait a minute.
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
And, we ended up transitioning to this. And then we started how we started. But listen, like you said, we started on 0 platforms. Mm-hmm. We started with listeners just like within literal close proximity to us.
Most definitely.
Now we have listeners in other parts of the world that you and I have never even been to before.
Yeah.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Shout out to each and every single one of our international listeners, especially, shout out to the 4% of y'all who listen in Germany.
Yeah.
I've never been to Germany. I don't know anybody from Germany. I don't know anybody who lives over there, but y'all are tapped in.
Wasn't another, I know Germany was the highest, but it was another one. What was
UK was also there, and Marshall Islands and Puerto Rico.
And shout out to each and every one of y'all.
For real, listen, I'm forever grateful, right, for the amount of listeners that we have on this show.
I agree.
Especially in other countries. Now, I've never personally been to Puerto Rico. I want to go soon, but I know you said you've been.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this: Have you gone to Puerto Rico since we started the podcast?
No.
Okay, so clearly you haven't gone and then told people like, "Yo, I started a podcast.
No.
Check it out."
Oh no.
So,
dude, that's wow. I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah, that's
right.
You're right. So that's the impact that we're clearly making. Wow.
So yeah, with me, like I said, wanting to change the world, wanting to leave an impact, wanting to do things differently so I can leave an impact on the world. Mm-hmm. We did something with it, man.
Yeah.
Like the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. Whoever sees it shall run.
Yep.
We had a vision. We wrote it down. We literally wrote it down. Bit by bit, we took notes on this. We did photo shoots. We brainstormed. We wanted to come up with a name. So much.
Mm-hmm. Failed. we failed a lot.
Numerous times, right? numerous times.
Yes.
And then what did we do? We came up with a way to record our voices and then release it out to the public.
Yeah.
Now look at us.
Yeah.
Upgraded equipment.
Yeah.
Upgraded cameras coming soon. We're still shooting on the iPhones right now, but the upgraded cameras, watch, it's coming your way.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you guys out there, all of y'all. It's coming your way.
And I didn't even tell you,
Mike's
bro.
buying the cameras.
I probably would. Look, who knows what happened? Look, God
Tomorrow.
bless me. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Just told you I went out gambling. Okay, I got to make some money back. But yo, I didn't even tell you the other day, bro. I went to the barbershop, man, and dude, my barber, he was like, I'll be watching y'all videos, man. He was like, y'all gonna blow up, and I was kind of like laughing because sometimes people will tell you that just in the conversation, just to talk. But
Right.
he was like, no, he stopped me. He was like, bro, I'm serious. You think I'm joking with you? He was like, I see it. Y'all are going to blow up, bro. And it was like, when he said it to me, I was like, I really felt it, and it's like it just gave me a confidence because sometimes we just get in the habitual ness of just like recording and doing this because we've been doing it for a while, but we don't really realize how far we've come and what the impact that we are probably making on some people. And he just made me look at this different, like, man, like we have created something. We have created a lane for ourselves. And just imagine we've done this. This is what we've managed to do in a year. Imagine 10 years from now what we can do. This is literally the ground floor, and we've managed to create something that we can bring people into.
This is still the seed that was planted.
Exactly.
It is just now starting to sprout.
Yeah.
After a year.
Yeah, man.
Right. So that seed, you see a little bit of green coming out of it, but it still hasn't formed a plant yet.
Dude,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we just keep watering it, showing up.
got to.
That's it. That's watering it, just showing up. And it's step by step, and it's growing, bro. It's definitely growing, man.
That's powerful, man.
Nah, it
that
is.
really is. So
It is, man. Puts it in perspective.
we said all of that to say that, we definitely found our way to leave an impact on the world.
Yeah, man.
And we hope that each and every single one of you guys and gals out there are looking at ways that you can leave your mark on the world, leave an impact on the world. Because I don't know, man, just to say legends never die, yo.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's never promised, but legends never die. Like, we, through this entity, through this platform that we've created, we are going to have messages that hopefully, if they stay on the servers long enough, they will be here long after we are gone.
Oh, most definitely.
To this day, I can go ahead and go on to YouTube and look up old Richard Pryor stand up.
Yeah.
That man's been gone for how long? I don't even know I don't know when he passed away. Like, I really don't. But he's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
I can go, listen to old Michael Jackson songs. He's been gone for more than a decade.
Yep.
I can listen to Prince. I can listen to whoever's gone. Listen, one of my favorite shows growing up, watching on TV with my grandfather, every New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, we would always watch The Honeymooners, starring Jackie Gleason. I didn't grow up watching that show. That was, I think, from the 50s or the 60s. I wasn't around, but my grandfather was.
Yeah.
So I watched the show with him. So he put me on to that TV show. And I can watch it now, in 2022.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever you do, that's those people who I just named. That's their legacy. That's what they've left behind for people in the future to watch and listen to. This is ours.
Yeah. And I think the important thing is to remind people is that as you're starting this, don't get so focused on looking for a return from people so quick. I think when we start something, we want people to be so engaged and to feel what it is we're feeling and feel as passionate we are about what it is that we're doing, that when we don't get that initial response, we feel that what we're doing now is inadequate. But that's not the case. It's actually, sometimes it takes people a while to see what it is you're doing, or it takes them seeing the consistency from you to be like, whoa, actually what he's doing is important.
Right.
Because I can tell you now, it's like, we've been doing this for a while now, right, B? And we didn't always have this same quality of sound equipment. But the fact that we've now been consistent enough to get good sound, better sound equipment, people gonna be like, whoa, they sound good. They're actually talking about something. Like, just those subtle changes, certain people start to now get hip to you. You have your day ones, of course, that just been with you from the start. But sometimes, man, it's over time that certain people, they start to see it. And, hey, they just be like, okay, well, this is what I've been doing. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to just continue to go. But you're not focused on their reactions because it's all about the impact.
That is true.
Yeah. So I've always been, I think the important thing about us is we've always been focused about quality. It's not necessarily just about quantity. It's just about the quality of stuff, because this is gonna always last, bro. Like the information that we give, I mean, of course we give some, just some current pop news, but I think in each episode we always give you something valuable that you can take with you and use.
Because there's a lesson in every single story that we share, right?
It is.
We're not just sharing pop news just to share news. Like, oh well, Ime Udoka was caught cheating on Nia Long, and we're being like messy with the topics. Like, nah, there's a lesson to take away and stuff like that.
This is true.
The number one lesson of that story, first and foremost, is
black men don't cheat.
See, I didn't even have to look at him in order for him to say what I was going to say, because we hear.
We knew it.
We definitely hear.
I'm telling you.
And it matters because these are facts.
These are facts.
Most definitely. I've never cheated.
I've never cheated.
We've been cheated on, but that's a different story for another day. We're not going to go that route today. But I will say that, there's a lesson in every story that we talk about. And I think that's a part of our growth. There's a reason why people continuously tap into each and every single episode, because we're not just on here being messy with the topics that we put out. We're not just on here saying stuff just for clicks and views and baiting people like, yo, go ahead and click on this so you can watch or hear what we say and share it with everybody. We would hope that y'all would share it anyway, but shout out to those of y'all who do share our content. We greatly appreciate it. Most definitely, for real. But yeah, man, that's a part of the impact right there, yo. Like, we're not just doing it for entertainment purposes only.
Right. Exactly. It's to actually, at the end of the day, I want to be able to look back and somebody come to me, yo, that podcast episode y'all made, such and such number, man, that information really helped me out, because sometimes I ain't gonna lie, when people come back to me, they'll, like, for instance, my barber, he was like, y'all really be talking about some stuff. He brought up a topic, but I forgot we even talked about it. And it's just like, that's okay, because my mind is on to the next thing. I'm trying to continue to leave more and more and think about more. But when people can come back to me and tell me, yo, this specific topic was like something good and it really helped me, hey, I think that's residual impact right there in itself.
Do you remember what the topic was that your barber brought up?
I don't. I don't remember off the top of my head. I just remember he told me, hey, make sure y'all keep going. Y'all actually have something. And he was like, y'all are actually talking about stuff. He was like, I watch a lot of different podcasts, and sometimes he was like, I leave the podcast and not really having anything that was impacted on my life. He was like, but y'all actually give some good information within what it is y'all talking about. That's all I remember.
Okay. Hey, well, shout out to your barber, for real.
Shout out to him.
I know I've actually had somebody who said that they appreciated one of the episodes that we did early on last year, right? And he said, yo, y'all need to do another one similar to that. And it was the topic that we did on mental health.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
That was episode 5.
Wow. I do agree with you. We do need to do something like that again.
We do. But for the simple fact of the matter is that somebody was able to come up to me and talk to me about an episode that we shot almost a year ago, if not more than a year ago, and said that, yo, we should, it really impacted them in a certain way. And, we should really do another one like that. So maybe it can speak to different people who weren't around to listen to episode 5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just stuff like that, yo. Like, it's really humbling, and it's really something that we appreciate, because, yeah, I don't remember talking about every single topic in every single episode, but, we can still go back and look at it, and that's a part of the impact, because, so can y'all. Like, y'all can go back and look at episode 1, even though Mike hates that episode.
I do hate that episode. It's very cringy, but you got to go back and see it, like B said. Learn.
Yeah. So, to see where we have come from episode 1 to now, is just one word, yo. It's growth.
Growth. Consistent. It can be consistency too.
That's right. But we haven't been so consistent lately.
I mean, that's okay. But you know what? Maybe not to our standards, but I think to us still doing it, we are consistent, because look where we at right now. Right. Even though we know we got a couple episodes we know we need to put out.
Yeah.
But we're still going. Like, we ain't just sitting not recording, not do like, no, we still going. We still making sure that we moving forward in some type of way.
Right.
So I think that we are consistent, just maybe not to the standard we want to be just yet.
Understood.
Yeah, man.
But that definitely, ties into everything that we wanted to talk about regarding legacy, unless there was something else that you wanted to add.
No, it just that was it. I mean, I just wanted people to realize that you personally you can leave your own true impact. It's It's just about what do you want to give the world? What is it that you have? Because what me and B are doing right now is what we have. Like, we both love to encourage people, to help people, to give something to people, right? So we're doing it, and this is just in our way. What is it that you want to do? Just come up with that, find that thing, and then give it to the world. Don't be afraid. Just give it. Start small, humble beginnings. You'll be surprised at where you'll end up at.
As long as it's legal,
please.
And ethical, please.
Yeah. Do that too. Please.
Because you never know, man. We could be speaking to somebody who's like, yo, so maybe if I do this way instead of doing it that way,
right.
I won't have to get caught,
right.
but I can still leave an impact on the world.
Right. Because as crazy as it may sound, you have some people out there that do try to leave an impact in a negative way, and the news media do kind of like, how they'll show bad stuff happening.
Yeah.
They look at that as like, oh man, look what I did.
Yeah.
So we don't want that. We don't condone anything that is illegal
or unethical
or immoral.
All of the above.
But yeah, man. I think one of the last things as far as leaving an impact, man. As of this recording, we've lost another rapper, unfortunately, in PnB Rock.
Yeah, and this was something that we initially made a video on weeks ago when it happened, but we never put it out because, it just, to be honest, I didn't feel right. I didn't feel right putting it out because of, not because of what was said in the video, but because it was just like really, really soon. It happened. And so many people were blaming his girlfriend for what happened because she shared their location. Y'all already know the story. So I don't want to go into, too much of that. But, it was definitely trending all over Twitter, along with Kodak Black because of statements he made, and along with like Young Dolph because we lost Dolph last year, and because of Nipsey Hussle because we also lost Nipsey Hussle in a similar fashion to Young Dolph and to PnB Rock. And it's just sad, man. We talk about impact a lot on the show. And of course, you already know the name. But, your life has to say something, right? We can't just be here. We can't just exist and not do anything to leave behind not only an impact, but a legacy. Fortunately, I will say, PnB Rock has touched a lot of lives before, he left this earth. I can't really say that I've listened to a lot of his music. I've listened to some of his songs. Yeah. But, he seemed like a very, talented individual. And, I definitely want to send condolences out to his loved ones, his family, his friends, and even his girlfriend who was there when the whole thing went down. Mm-hmm. But again, we didn't share the video because, of all the stuff that happened, right then and there. And it was like really, really, really too soon. But we wanted to bring it up this time around just because, like, last year we covered an episode 14, where we talked about Young Dolph. We talked about how we lost Young Dolph to senseless acts of gun violence. And there was a list that we particularly read, and we even read a lot of the names on the list that's on Wikipedia, and it is a list that has the names of rappers who were, for lack of better words for the YouTube algorithm, a list of rappers who were taken out by means of gun violence. Now, last year on the list, of course, when we did the episode and we talked about Young Dolph passing away, he was the last name on that list. And that was November 2021. So since November 2021, I'm looking at the list right now, and it appears that 7 additional names have been added to that list from November 2021 to September 2022. A few of the honorable mentions that are on I don't know every artist on the list, but we talked about one in a previous episode, Trouble, right? We talked about another name that was on the list. We talked about Jay the Youngin. Of course, PnB Rock, as of this recording, is the last name on the list. But you have other artists like Drakeo the Ruler, Snooty Wild, Archie Eversoul. Like I've never heard of Archie Eversole, but apparently that gentleman was taken out in Decatur, Georgia. So that kind of hits close to home. And of course, Trouble, as we all know, since we covered this in an episode, he was taken out in Atlanta. So there's a lot to be said regarding leaving an impact on the world. But also we wanted to say, man, number one, your life is more important than a lot of your material items that you have on you. And we all know how PnB Rock passed away, but just be careful out there with the stuff that you're walking around with the stuff that you're flaunting, with the stuff that you might be advertising in public, I will say. Just be careful, man.
Please.
There's something that needs to be said about all these acts of senseless acts of gun violence that, we'll be up in arms when a cop takes us out. But we won't be up in arms when we have our own out here taking us out. I mentioned in episode 14 a song that I used to listen to when I was younger. Of course, the song came out before I was even born, but it was a song called Self-Destruction. It had a lot of notable hip hop names on it. Curtis Blow, KRS-One, Heavy D, Cool Mo D, a bunch of, artists where a lot of y'all would consider them, old school, of course. But it was a song about how, we were just constantly killing each other and it needed to stop. And I think, if I remember correctly, I know that song was recorded in the 80s. I don't remember when exactly. Let me look it up real quick. Okay, so the song was released in 1989. So that was when I was born. All right. You know what I'm saying? I was born in 89. So yeah, I'm telling my age, but y'all already knew that. It's crazy how songs like that aren't even produced anymore, how songs like that aren't even released anymore because of the message. And, it's something that definitely needs to be heard a lot more. So if you guys have not listened to that song, please go ahead and go on YouTube. Listen to the song. Play the song. Just listen to the lyrics, man. One thing that stuck out to me, and I don't remember who said it in the song, but this one gentleman said, I've never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black man because that's self-destruction. We should not have to fear our own brothers or our own sisters. We should not have to worry about one of our own taking us out because of something that we're wearing or because of something that we stand for or something that we represent. Mm-hmm. We should not have to fear for our lives around our own people. Mm-hmm. And we all know the saying, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. However, why is that even the case to begin with? Why are we out here looking to jack one another? Why are we out here looking to say for example, Mike, you have such a happy life, man. You have such a happy marriage. I want that. I want to take something from you because you are happy and I'm not. I'm happy. But I was just using that as an example. Mm-hmm. Why are we like this? So I just wanted to say all of that to say that we need to be much, much, much more careful when it comes to situations like this. And we need to stop being so up in arms regarding cops taking us out. And we need to be more cautious and more self-aware and willing to fight for each other when it comes to us taking each other out. Yeah. Cut it out, man. Just stop. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Stop taking your brothers and sisters' lives, yo. That's nuts.
Yeah, I do agree. We need to reevaluate the value of life because definitely has been some of them don't understand or appreciate life
or even care. A lot of people don't care about life. Something that took so long to create. The brother passed away when he was 30? He's your age, matter of fact. Mm-hmm. The dude is your age. Yeah. PnB Rock would have been turning 31 in December. He won't even get to see his 31st birthday.
Yep. That's nuts. That's nuts, man.
Yo, we need to start valuing life more. So please, if y'all don't take anything away from this episode, just take that lesson, man. Value life much more than we already do. Yeah. And that goes for everybody. Men, women, children even, because some of these kids out here don't care.
And I would just say, just to kind of round that off, just for those of you that are wanting to get into the profession of being a rapper, just understand the words that you are speaking. They're powerful, and they do have an effect that could be way after the initial words that you spoke in the beginning. So just be careful at what it is you're putting out there, the message, and understand that, like B said, there's always somebody watching you. And yeah, just be careful, man. I'm tired of seeing this. It's unfortunate that it's like we see it so much that we're kind of numb to it at this point.
We're so desensitized to it, man. But
yeah,
it shouldn't be that way.
Nah, just be careful, man. I mean, everybody wants to. Well, a lot of people want to become a rapper, but a lot of these rappers are being targeted. So let's be mindful of that.
So with that being said, we definitely don't want to end the episode on such a heavy topic. So with that being said, I'll just go ahead and ask the question that I normally ask.
Yes, sir.
What time of the show is it? Because I got to be specific with you. I can't just say what time is it anymore, because knowing you,
because I'll tell you that it's
exactly, and I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that. What time of the show is it? What are we about to get into next?
So we're gonna get into the previous question of the week, and we're gonna get into some of the answers that we got from y'all from the last
Most
week.
definitely. So, Mike, with that being said, man, what was the previous question of the week for the last episode?
Previous question from last week was, what do women have against men and video games?
Now, this was definitely a question that got quite a bit of pushback from some of our female audience, and not all of them, of course, but I did leave a comment in the comment section to kind of justify why we were asking that question. Granted, the episode where we asked the question in itself was not released yet, but by the time you guys hear this, episode 41 would have already been dropped, and y'all would understand why we asked the question. However, I will say that we did get quite a few responses on this. One of the responses actually came from TikTok, which I was shocked, because it's been a while since we've gotten an answer to a question on TikTok. So let's go ahead and read that one first. So that one came from user The Ramen Dealer, which is interesting because we were talking about ramen earlier in the episode. But shout out to The Ramen Dealer on TikTok. I don't know if this is a man or a woman, but this person said, some women don't like it because the attention isn't on them at all times. Some men can play for a long time also. So we responded and said, these are facts. We can sit and play certain games for hours and hours, especially online. And that is something that we mentioned in the last episode when we're playing like Call of Duty, or we're playing 2K, or we're playing Madden against other people across the world. We can definitely be.
Can take a while.
Yeah, we can be very focused on what we got going on.
Right. So from _Psych Oasis, she said, it's not that I have a problem with video games. I just think that there's a time and a place for it. I'm grateful for the game when I need my alone time, though. And I can feel that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Then we responded saying, that seems reasonable. At least you allow it to keep him occupied during your alone time. Thank you for your response.
Next up, from Kimberly with a Y, she said, no problem with it, just not all day, every day. So I replied, understandable. What about half the day, every other day? Bruh. She said, might have to further negotiate those terms, LOL.
So from the _blurred_explorer, like all hobbies and activities, there should be a balance when it comes to gaming. 1 to 4 hours after a day of work, sure, no problem. Once in a blue moon, all day game sessions cause you to have to quarantine. Go for it. But if all you do is eat, sleep, and play the game and nothing else, then that's a problem. You said, makes sense. Sometimes we get lost in a good game, though. So 1 to 4 hours could turn into... I'm not going to say that word. It's been a long time for that. And then said the Blurred Explorer said they've been there a few times.
And we also had a response from a young lady I went to high school with. Shout out to Pilar. She said, personally, I don't care. as long as it doesn't interfere with my time with the person or their basic responsibilities. So real quick, to kind of comment on, what the Blurred Explorer said, it's understandable during quarantine. And I get that, because trust me, when we was on lockdown in 2020, Call of Duty was my best friend. So,
I understand.
Man, I worked from home at the time. So whenever I logged off from work, just hit Call of Duty. I was playing online for hours and hours and hours. And then I realized, where did the time go?
Yeah, that definitely get away from you.
Definitely gained a lot of weight during quarantine. And I'm so glad I got most of it off. But I gained a lot of weight during quarantine. And I think a good amount of it had to do with sitting in front of the TV on the Xbox all day.
Understandable. Like
Hey, we weren't outside. You know what I'm saying? We outside now, though.
He says it's definitely a balance.
Most definitely.
It's a balance.
So thank each and every single one of y'all, ladies and gentlemen, who have responded to the question of the week from last week.
Yes.
We greatly appreciate it, as always. And you already know we cannot just give you the answers from the previous week. We have to give you another question, because our job is to make you guys think.
Yes.
We got to have y'all think, right? So, Mike, what is the question for this episode?
So the question for this episode ties into the episode. It is, if today was your last day on Earth, would you be okay with what you have done?
Now, when you say last day on Earth, do you mean like I'm about to go into outer space with Elon Musk and them? You know, like I'm about to go to Mars with them?
Like you about to go to the upper room. Like
the upper room?
You going to the upper room. That's it. You
okay.
About to go to God's
about
home.
to clock out?
That's it.
For
God said it's time to come home.
Okay.
That's what. Are you okay with what you have done? It makes you think.
It does. I'm going to save my answer for next episode. I'm not going to give it right now.
Yeah, I want to think about that one myself. I might need to do some more work in between between now and then.
I definitely do. I need to do some more work myself.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know about now. I don't know if I can say that now. But, yeah, I definitely got to do some work within the next week or so.
But, yeah. Okay. Well, you already know. If you want to answer that question, you can answer it right here on YouTube. You can put it in the comment section, or you can go to Instagram, which we do get a lot of our responses from there, which is at Residual Impact Podcast. Or you can go on Twitter, which is Residual Impact. You can go to TikTok, which is Residual Impact as well. Or you can email us if you're a little bit old school. I ain't mad at it. I do the same thing. residualimpactpodcast@gmail.com.
Most definitely.
Yes, sir. We greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all that take the time out to answer it, because we love to hear y'all responses.
Always. And with that being said, man, this episode is one that we kind of had to come off the head with, because we didn't really have a lot planned.
But you know what, brother? It turned into a really good one. I think it was a very well-rounded episode.
That's true. Mostly in part because we definitely had a lot to say about impact. And I think that this episode alone will leave an impact on certain people.
Truly do. I hope so. I really do hope so.
I hope so too.
I just want to keep going. So whatever it is, I'm going to keep going. And
we will.
If the right people is going to touch.
We definitely will. So. And yeah, the right people will get in front of the message, and they'll hear the message, and they'll receive the message well.
That's all I want, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what a residual impact is about.
You already know. So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up episode 42. Man, it's been a long time coming. And we are grateful for this platform. We are grateful for each and every single one of y'all who constantly tune into us and listen to what we have to say on this platform, because, hey, we probably would have given up if it weren't for y'all. Like, for real. We would have just, like you started to say a little earlier, when people start certain things, they might just quit after a little while, because it might not be coming off the way that they initially planned it in their head, or they might, they definitely might not be getting the results that they want, or they might not have a lot of listeners at first, but you can't give up. You got to keep going.
Got to, man. You get better along the way.
Shout out to y'all.
Thank y'all. So, hey, man, we can't leave without, dropping that knowledge on them, man. So what do we always say at the end of every episode?
Where you are today is a residual outcome of the thoughts you've had in the past.
Just like that, man. The impact.
You already know.
Bye. Hi, Mom.
All right. Adios.
All right. Y'all have a good night, man. Thank y'all.
Till next time for episode 43. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.